Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something super powerful, but honestly, it gets overlooked all the time. I'm talking about language. Okay, picture this. You're face to face with this massive, fire-breathing dragon. The party is looking at you. What do you say? Say the wrong thing? Yeah, you're toast. Literally. But the right words, that could lead to an alliance, incredible treasure, or, just not dying. Because in these worlds, a sharp tongue can be just as deadly as a sharp sword. So, in this guide, we're going to arm you with the knowledge you need to negotiate, to eavesdrop, and to unlock ancient secrets, all by mastering the power of language. So, get this. The D&D multiverse is swimming in languages. We're talking over 60 of them. But hey, don't panic. You don't need to learn them all. We're going to zero in on the 17 most important ones every adventurer should probably know about. All right, let's break it down. Languages in Dungeons & Dragons basically fall into two big buckets, and understanding this split is totally key to making smart choices for your character. And this split is super helpful, right? It's the difference between the chatter you'll hear in a crowded tavern and the spooky whispers you might find on a demonic contract. Think of it this way. Standard languages are your everyday tools. Rare languages, those are your specialized power tools for the really tough, really weird jobs. So let's take Dwarvish, for example. It's not just what dwarves speak to each other. Nope. This ancient, kind of guttural language has this really cool runic alphabet called Dithek. And here's the kicker. That script is so influential, a ton of other races just borrowed it. And this is where it gets really interesting. See, if you can read that Dithek script, you're not just reading Dwarvish anymore. All of a sudden, you can figure out what those giants scrawled on the cave wall, or the blueprints a gnome engineer left behind, or even the battle plans of a goblin war chief. It's a huge advantage. So here's the big takeaway. You don't need to memorize dozens of different alphabets. If you just learn three, the Dwarvish Dithek, the Common Script, and the elegant Elvish Esperor, bam, you can basically read most of the major writings in the entire game. That's some serious bang for your buck. Okay, so you're sold on being a polyglot, but how do you actually learn these languages? Well, the rules have been tweaked, and it really changes how you build your character. So back in the 2014 rules, a lot of it was tied to your race. You're an elf, you get Elvish. Makes sense. But the 2024 rules kind of shake things up. Now you get way more freedom to choose. But there's a catch. Those really cool, powerful, rare languages, yeah, you can't pick those right at the start anymore. But hey, character creation is just step one, right? Your language journey doesn't end there. You can still become a total language nerd through class features, spending your downtime hitting the books, or grabbing a feat like linguist. And then you've got the really sneaky stuff. Classes like rogues and druids get their own secret codes. We're talking Thieves' Cant and Druidic. And these aren't just languages, they're like spycraft. You can pass secret messages right in front of the bad guys, and they'll be none the wiser. But what if you're in a jam? You need to understand what that ancient scroll says right now, and you haven't spent years studying. Well, that's where magic swoops in to save the day. Okay, your first tool in the magic toolbox is Comprehend Languages. Think of it like a magical listening device. It's awesome for eavesdropping or quickly figuring out what's in that weird book you found. The key thing here is it's one way only. You can listen, but you can't talk back. Now, if you actually need to have a conversation, talk and listen, you're going to need something bigger. That's the tongue spell. It's basically a universal translator. You understand them, and just as important, they understand you. So it all comes down to picking the right tool for the job, right? If you need to gather intel, be a spy, you go with Comprehend Languages. But if you need to be a diplomat, negotiate a truce, or just have a chat, that's when you pull out the tongue spell. So you might be thinking, why bother learning all these languages if I can just use a spell? And that's a great question. The answer really comes down to strategy, role-playing, and, well, the fact that you don't have unlimited spell slots. So what's the real payoff for being a polyglot? What are the game-changing advantages that make a linguist a totally clutch party member? It's way more than just talking. I mean, think about it. Knowing the right language lets you do so much cool stuff. You can plan your attack in a language the enemy doesn't understand, right in front of them. Or use sign language for a perfectly silent infiltration. It's about overhearing plots, building trust with an NPC just by speaking their native tongue, and deciphering ancient lore without burning a precious spell slot. And if you're wondering which languages to prioritize, This tier list gives you the best bang for your buck. Obviously, common is essential. You get that for free. But look at the A tier. Undercommon, draconic, giant. These open up conversations with a huge number of monsters and powerful beings. I mean, knowing draconic could let you read the magic words on an ancient artifact. And speaking giant might be the only thing that stops a hill giant from eating you for lunch.
So, next time you're creating a character, think beyond just your sword arm or your spell list. Think about the power of words. Because in the world of Dungeons & Dragons, knowing what to say and how to say it can be the most powerful weapon you have. It can literally change everything.